Good morning, and here now the news. Although the office of Congressman Donald S. Beyer Jr. in Virginia's 8th Congressional District remains tight-lipped about the latest probe into corruption launched by his former rival, the unabashed conservative Mike Webb, seeking details regarding an inappropriate but very lucrative federal job offer that he received while seeking to run against the favorite son incumbent and a job for which he was not even remotely qualified, Webb indicates that he is certain that the pressure is not going unnoticed. Perhaps it is just coincidence that immediately after Webb gained the assistance of Senator Mark Warner's office in pursuing the probe, that he got hit with not just one, but two bills from the Internal Revenue Service, claiming to request monies for taxes due. One bill requested payments for sums reported on his 2016 tax return that he had filed electronically through a popular online tax service that does not let you have the option to not pay the taxes due at the time of filing, making this claim of monies owed highly suspicious on the face. But also, immediately after a window-breaking incident at the home of Webb's sister in New Jersey, at the very house where the pictures of her children were used by Senator Tim Kaine's Blue Virginia to intimidate Webb from pursuing a campaign for Arlington County and which is being investigated as a hate crime by local law enforcement, Webb received a collection notice from a collection agency that claimed to be representing his former condominium association, the Carlton Condominium in Arlington, and seeking monies they claimed that he owed after a foreclosure vacation from his property in May. The association is seeking 7 months of past due fees plus late fees incurred after a discharge in bankruptcy 8 months before, and 3 months after Webb's vacation from the premises after a foreclosure sale. Suspect again on the face. Nonetheless, Charles Hernick, Webb's former rival for the Republican nomination, was quick to respond about the incident immediately after Webb disclosed it on social media, defending the creditor interest and blaming Webb for failing to report the sum during his bankruptcy proceeding. However, Hernick's reliance, as often, on his personal thoughts about bankruptcy law is misplaced because the charges that the Condominium Association is claiming that Webb owed were incurred after the discharge of his debts by the bankruptcy court in December. In a Chapter 7 bankruptcy proceeding in the Eastern District of Webb's pleadings in reply to motion filed by financial creditors caused the recusal of one bankruptcy trustee, the withdrawal from a standard motion for relief from the automatic stay, and a request for continuance by two other powerful financial interests against a pro se debtor representing himself, a career paralegal with 15 years of experience who has been unable even to obtain an interview for over a year and a half in the best legal professional market in the country. Webb's former mortgager, Nation Star Mortgage, was the first party to withdraw and sound an apparent retreat after failing to serve notice on Webb for its motion for relief. As soon as Webb accidentally learned about the filing of the motion, he included in his pleading the details of a fraudulent scheme initiated by Nation Star in connection with his earlier filing of a bankruptcy proceeding under Chapter 13 of the Bankruptcy Code in June 2016, shortly after his loss in the Republican nomination convention, coincidentally, and while he was seeking to run as an independent write-in candidate in Virginia's 8th Congressional District. A person, Joseph Walters of Vienna, Virginia, representing himself as an attorney and doing business as JRW and Associates, had contacted Webb shortly before his foreclosure sale in June of 2016 and offered to assist him by filing for bankruptcy. Webb later discovered that Walters was not, in fact, an attorney, but what was more disturbing was the fact that Walters defrauded Webb of over $1,500, submitting a filing to the bankruptcy court that listed Nation Star as his only creditor, sight unseen by Webb and without the required wet signatures under the local court rules. The filing was accepted by the court without payment of the required initial fees under local court rules. And the proceedings, Webb learned in October 2016, had been dismissed in August 2016 before a mandatory creditor meeting. Webb only learned about the dismissal after he had been contacted by Walters for more monies to continue to represent Webb in the Chapter 13 proceeding, and after he expressed his dissatisfaction with Walters' services and consulted with another bankruptcy attorney in Alexandria. That attorney at the Andrews Law Firm in Alexandria informed Webb about the dismissed action, encouraged him to file another Chapter 13 reorganization proceeding, expecting Webb's employment situation to turn around shortly, and informed him that a subsequent bankruptcy filing could not be performed until the balance due for the prior proceeding had been satisfied. But wholly aware that his unemployment situation was not cyclical but political, Webb knew that his employment situation would not improve and proceeded to file a Chapter 7 liquidation with the Alexandria-based bankruptcy court, noting the discrepancies in procedures in the Chapter 13 under his dismissed prior proceeding, and Webb has yet to receive a bill to satisfy the outstanding balance for his dismissal proceeding in August. But in the recent actions by Webb's condominium association, the Carlton, after the discharge in bankruptcy, the collection agency appears to be employing a shakedown tactic that was very similar to the one employed by Walters when Webb relinquished his service relationship with him. Walters had informed Webb that he would not provide him a full refund, but only a partial one of $1,000, and only upon condition that Webb sign a release that would absolve him from any further legal actions. Just as illegally and unconscionably, The collection agency representing the Carlton condominium is making good on the vow of the condominium property manager to Webb shortly before his vacation of the premises to make him pay. They have demanded immediate payment for over $8,000 in association dues incurred after the date, presumptively, of the bankruptcy discharge, in addition to $250 in legal fees, but threatening the addition of more legal fees if they must file a civil action in court against Webb, as well as reporting the unsatisfied debt as delinquent to the credit reporting agencies. Webb, a paralegal with over 5 years of experience in bankruptcy, recognizes the shakedown tactic, using the threat of legal action to intimidate the debtor and force an undesirable outcome. And Webb served a reply back to the collection agency to inform them that he was fully aware of the nature of their retaliatory action. If and when the collection agency files a civil action in court, Webb stated that he is ready to file a countersuit detailing attempts by the Carlton condominium properties to make the residence unlivable, to persuade Webb just to walk away even before the bankruptcy filing commenced. He indicates that he will initiate a frivolous and vindictive motion against the filing attorneys under Federal Rule of Procedure number 11 for filing a proceeding against a judgment-proof debtor and in an industry where the established course of dealing is to pass on the subsequent fees to the purchaser, the responsibility of payment for past due condominium fees. But also, in countersuit, Webb will bring attention to the fact that NationStar, which withdrew its motion for relief in 2016, was fully capable of recovering the property in December immediately after the bankruptcy discharge. But for unknown reasons, NationStar waited until May of 2017, a full 5 months, before initiating another foreclosure sale, permitting the Carlton to accrue charges for association fees that Webb, subject to the discharge order from the court, was helpless to mitigate. A similar maneuver was pursued jointly by the Arlington Revenue Commissioner and the Carlton condominium when a lien was placed on Webb's automobile for taxes past due. The vehicle, a 2014 Nissan Pathfinder that Webb claims to have been damaged by vandalism in February 2016, had been parked in the basement parking lot space that he owned under his property deed. But at the same time that the lien was placed on the vehicle, with a note indicating that the vehicle could not be moved under penalty of felony conviction, the property managers at the Carlton condominium served a notice on Webb that his unserviceable vehicle would incur fees of $50 per day until the nuisance was removed from the premises. It is of significance to note that Webb never paid any of these extortionary fees, and they are not included in the fees that the Carlton condominium is now claiming that Webb owes to them. Is this just another conspiracy theory? Is this the deep state at work, retaliating against persons who supported President Donald Trump? Is it a tale of the corruption of another multi-millionaire using his wealth to purchase influence? Or is it all just a huge misunderstanding? Wherever the facts take us, we will continue to report this story that no other news agency is bringing to the voters of Arlington or to the American people. Stay tuned for more updates. God bless you, and have a good day. This advertisement was authorized by Mike Webb. Honest.